Final checks for the referee. Izmir Petkic, and we're underway at Notre Dame Stadium on this temporary grass pitch, which looks to be in excellent condition for a preseason clash between Chelsea and Celtic. And flying forward early on in the Blues, a chance for Chukwuemeka! And cutting out the angle just in time, the new signing for Celtic, Kasper Schmeichel. How's that for excitement off the bat?
Less than 15 seconds in, it's the movement of James into the middle of the park. Guillou has a wonderful turn, and it's a heavy touch from Chukwuemeka that lets him down in the final third. That's where he has to clean it up. He has to be better in that moment. The 20-year-old should do better in that moment, and Celtic are let off from a disastrous start.
Early corner for Chelsea. In swinger, heart of the area. As Colwell dealt with it. And Schmeichel watches it out. Rinse and repeat from the same corner flag. Mostly Fofana, who featured in the second half of Chelsea's preseason opener on Wednesday, making his first start. He hasn't played an official game for the Blues in something like 404 days. Rinse and repeat, it's in. We have seen from Celtic over the course of this preseason campaign for them, they've looked fresher, fitter than the opposition at every step of the way.
Celtic's game model is about high pressure. That starts with Kyogo up top, and that's his work rate defensively that helps dictate the press for Chelsea. But then offensively, he's a tireless work rate.
Okay.
And he's the type of forward that really will press. But look at this quickly. You play out of it, but Celtic love to get numbers around. They win it back. They try to go quickly early. It's not on. This is when they keep possession if you can't go within 2 passes.
Here's the first touches for the U.S. international, the American Cameron Carter-Vickers. And Chelsea will have a throw in their own half. Carter-Vickers given a little extended break following the Copa America with the U.S. Disappointing group stage exit. He does get his first start. He's chased down by Scales. Schmeichel under pressure. There's Cameron Vickers. For Anthony Ralston, his Scottish international. He's from Rio Hatate. And in central midfield, it's a promising build-up for the Hoops. Maeda. It's an aggressive challenge. And Maeda draws the foul. It'll be a free kick as the captain, Reece James, the guilty party. And a quick restart, trying to catch Celtic napping. Back post. And dealing with it just in time was young Levi Colwell.
Chelsea need to do a better job instantly on restart. Someone has to stand in front of it. They cannot let they cannot let Celtic go quickly on these restarts. That's poor from Chelsea early on.
You've seen the captain, Reece James, in a slightly different role this game and the last for Celtic. Spends more time in midfield. You see him right at the center of the park now. It's a position that he's not totally unfamiliar with. Played it at youth level, entering a brief spell on loan at Wigan. Played as a central midfielder. For now, they're calling it an inverted fullback. That's given away. One back by Chukwuemeka.
That's good strength, but Chukwuemeka is actually punished for trying to stay on his feet. In that moment, he's trying to use his frame and his physical technique to be able to defend Scales while also trying to cleverly play it through.
Again, given away by Celtic in a dangerous position. Scales getting a touch on it. The headers! Pushed away by Schmeichel to deny Nkunku. Chelsea regroup by Colwell. The captain, James, had it poked loose. Here's Fofana. Madueke. Long ball is rolling all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. And we'll get a second chance of that Chelsea chance.
Just suffocating pressure, and this is where it hung up and fightingly for Nkunku. He's got to get a bit more locked on it. He's gone for power from that distance, but Kasper Schmeichel's too good of a shot stopper. He's going to make that save. Lofted up and over. That's the way you're going to beat Schmeichel from that distance.
It's open over for Maeda now. Cut out by Badiashile. Fofana. Oh, glued to his feet. James skipping over the challenge. Still James. He was tripped up from behind by Celtic captain Callum McGregor. It's a bright start for Chelsea. Just game number 2 of their preseason against a Celtic team that is a week away from kicking off their Scottish Premier League campaign. Won 12 of the last 13 in Scotland.
Celtic had an impressive 4-3 win over Manchester City in Chapel Hill on Tuesday night. The scoreline flatters Manchester City. Celtic were all over them. It was their high press, but what's different about so far this afternoon, Chelsea is putting more numbers in the middle of the park. Celtic had the advantage over Manchester City because they had a numbers overload in the middle of the field. Right now, Chelsea has it. That's why they're winning it in higher positions.
Madueke takes it in stride, looking for the angle. And it's on target. Still loose to the 6! And somehow kept out by Schmeichel. Chukwuemeka with Chelsea's second clear-cut chance of the game.
It's the pressure from Mudryk that causes the turnover. As it starts to develop, this is going to hang up. Chukwuemeka takes the touch from his right foot to his left to be able to try to get it away from the defender. And it's the last-second sliding effort from Carter Vickers that ultimately forces the rushed effort. That's why it can't be turned in from inside the 6.
There's Forrest, played in behind, looking for Kyogo. They should have had won it, but gave it away. It's a couple of times now that Celtic have given the ball back to Chelsea inside of their own final third. A close look at Benoit Badiashile, who's anchoring with his, at times, a 3-man back line with Fofana and Cole on either side. You notice that James is almost always inside of Fofana and Badiashile.
When Reece James is in the middle of the park, that's a better sign for Chelsea. That means they have possession of the ball. That means that they're dictating the pace of play. When Reece James is at a right-back position, that means Celtic has the advantage. Keep an eye on tactically how that shifts and how that changes for the Chelsea back four, and for the Chelsea captain, Reece James in particular.
Kyogo coming all the way back to help Celtic build out of the back. Schmeichel, the big offseason acquisition so far for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic, following the retirement or departure of Joe Hart. McGregor. Forrest. More patient out of the back this time by the hoops. Brendan Rodgers, again, the second season of his second spell. All he's done is win 9 trophies in 4 seasons with Celtic, including back-to-back domestic trebles back in 2017, 2018. Cover play from Celtic. Kyogo sneaking in behind, arriving in the areas. Kyogo! And kicked away by Robert Sanchez, called into action for the first time.
Kyogo's absolutely made the wrong decision. It's the right run, wrong decision at the most important moment. It's a high line from Chelsea. Kyogo, who is a star, it's an electric pace, always makes the right decision except when it's needed most right here. He's got to do better in that situation.
He clipped into the area. Taylor! Oh, he snuck in behind. But the offside flag comes up against the fullback.
That is such a big let-off for Chelsea. In that moment, Kyogo had a pair of teammates screaming for it in the middle. It's a player you can generally count on to make the right decision that time. He had already decided that he was going to have the effort go to the near post. Better option there is either square it or shoot to the far post. So if it forces a save from Sanchez, it goes right into the path of one of his 2 teammates.
McGregor. Atate. All the way back to Scales and further still to Schmeichel to play out of the back. Kasper Schmeichel, part of that fairy tale Premier League season for Leicester City. He was at Anderlecht last season and now joining Celtic on a free transfer this summer. Hard to overstate just how dominant Celtic have been in the Scottish Premier League. I'm trying to carry that over into European play. Scales. Confident, but really gets himself in trouble. It was Hugh who was closing him down.
Right now you can see Reece James at the bottom of your screen. There's the back four for Chelsea. That's an indication in the last 120 seconds or so that Celtic are starting to establish dominance with the ball. And tactically, that's a better sign for Celtic. It's worse off for Chelsea when Reece James is pinned back and they can't have that number overload in the middle of the park.
Wide for Anthony Ralston. Forrest, clever. And here come the hoops. 4 against 3, advantage Celtic. Maeda. 1v1 is Maeda! Fofana just getting a touch on it, taking all the sting off of the ball.
This is where Celtic want to be against Chelsea. Reece James pinned back. Maeda, who was excellent 1v1 against Manchester City, gave a lesson to Rico Lewis all night long Tuesday night. When they can get Reece James pinned back, Maeda 1v1, that's where Celtic are winning the middle of the park. That's how they're going to be better than Chelsea today.
Rio Hatate and Daisen Maeda, 2 Japanese internationals who missed the start of preseason for Celtic. They were on international duty with Japan playing World Cup qualifiers against Myanmar and Syria. And taking part now in the last 2. Badiashile. Possession given away by Romeo Lavia. Hatate from distance. Was parried by Sanchez, but still left loose inside of the 18. And Maeda couldn't capitalize.
No pressure from Hatate, so he's going to have the effort from distance. And as his save is forced, Maeda should actually run in between the ball and Sanchez and stop. That's a good look at that effort from Hatate. That was most certainly going to sneak inside the right post from Sanchez. As Maeda won that second effort, get in between the goalkeeper and then stop, absorb the contact inside the box. He'd won the race to it, tried to be clever, and ultimately gave away a goal kick from it.
Well, not the cleanest play out of the back this time between Carlos Sanchez, Fofana. Here comes Celtic trying to capitalize. Pass is cut out by Colwell. Carter Vickers. Scales. Showing a lot of confidence in both central defender Scales and Carter Vickers with the ball at their feet. It's tracked down by Reece James as Chelsea look to build. Madueke. Support on the inside from Madueke, trying to square it in. And Scales had it read. Corner for Chelsea.
Madueke has elite speed at this level. And he starts to pull away from Taylor, so Taylor has to take a new angle. It brings over Scales. That's where you get those runs from the midfield. As Madueke is looking for the likes of Nkunku in the middle of the park to try to cut it back. He's going to draw 2 players over. Look for him try to provide early service.
To Captain James, outswinger toward the spot. And it will be Celtic ball via throw. Everyone eager to impress the new boss, Enzo Maresca, and maybe none more than Madueke, who showed up to training camp early. That's how you do it when a new coach shows up.
Absolutely. First one in, last one out. Make a good impression with the manager. What a turn in the middle of the park.
Taylor floats it forward. Using the full width of the pitch here, Celtic. Movement off the ball, it's wide once more. And the offside flag comes up.
Celtic scored 2 fabulous goals against Manchester City, and it came from turns in the middle of the park like that from Hatate. Steps in front of the defender, uses his body as a shield whilst turning, and then it was the next ball through. And with the high line that Chelsea are playing, there's an enormous amount of space in behind. to try to play through. It's making the eyes from the Celtic front three get bigger and bigger every time a player in the center of the park is able to turn for Celtic.
Shield driving forward. Nkunku. Long switch of play for Madueke. And Celtic once again out of throw. Had a strong finish at the end of the Premier League campaign. Noni Madueke scored 3 of his goals in that final 5-game stretch. Chelsea finished strong. Albeit 6th place, disappointing for a club used to winning trophies. It is better than 12th the previous season, but once again a restart, a fresh start, and betting on youth. Finding young players to lengthy contracts, 7 and 8 years down the line. Brendan Rodgers locked in an intense conversation in the bench. Shield. Christopher Nkunku. Modric. Read Nkunku's intention, and he's running in behind. Has Guy on the inside. It's Nkunku. Chukwuemeka. Seemingly gone. James, bit of a desperate shot from distance. It was blocked. And overhead looking for Madueke on the near side. Celtic will get the ball back in play via throw. Well, the third member of our broadcast team, Katie with him, is pitchside. Katie, how are you seeing it?
Over on the Chelsea sideline, Enzo Maresca, a lot of little feedback tidbits out to his players on the field, most recently concerned with his lines, making sure those guys are staying connected out there. But he got the attention of number 11, Noni Madueke, telling him to be positionally aware when he can come inside, do it. But he likes the matchup against Celtic defender Greg Taylor, telling him pointedly, when you can, go at him.
There's O'Reilly. James Forrest. Forward with numbers once again is Celtic, cut to the inside, and Sanchez parries it wide. Corner for Celtic.
Tuesday night, Celtic had a ton of success on their right side through Nicholas Kuhn, who's out today of the matchday squad. So in comes Forrest. Similar type action, cutting in from the right, that left foot. That's where Celtic find their numbers. Now they're going to go short to try to see if they can draw the big bodies from Chelsea out to try to find some space in behind. Very compact right now from Chelsea.
Squeeze into the heart of the 18. Promising, and they found the opener! Matt O'Reilly! Unmarked inside the 18. And the old man gets it done. 1-0 to Celtic. 1-0 to the Hoops.
Celtic draw Chelsea out with the short corner, and nobody comes and closes down Matt O'Reilly. It's too late of a step from Colwell. The first touch allows O'Reilly to open himself up. Off a season where he had 19 goals last year, the Players' Player of the Year picks up right where he left off a week before the season starts in the Scottish Premiership. Matt O'Reilly in fine form. It's a smart finish. This will be the best look. Open it up with the first touch. Use Colwell as his shield to go around Sanchez. Easy does it. Brendan Rodgers, hail to the fans in attendance. They got what they wanted to see from old man Matt Riley. At 23 years old, yeah. He'll be the youngest man needing a cane in the state of Indiana, but nonetheless, what a finish. What a smart buildup from Celtic, though. To understand O'Reilly's positioning, they didn't just lump it in, understanding the height advantage that Chelsea has. So they draw him out, they find the pocket of space, and from that 3 in the midfield, O'Reilly pops up unmarked. It's inexcusable defensively from Chelsea.
This one back by Reece James. Now Nkunku driving forward into space. Looking for the youngster view, and those are coming together. Still play allowed to continue, and scrambling back. It's cleared off the line in front of an empty net by the fullback Greg Taylor. Pass was intended for Mark Yu, teenager who makes relentless runs in behind time and time again. Nkunku trying to reward him.
That's much better from Nkunku, and could have seen the foul given there. It wasn't from Ismail Pekmik. Yu, it's his movement is what really separates him, and when he leads the line with so many players that striking speed behind him, he needs to try to continue to move in behind, centrally between the two center backs for Celtic.
Nkunku on the ball. Chukwuemeka. Once again, Nkunku, it's driven into the 18, and it's overhit for Yu in the middle, and from Madueke out wide. A lot of responsibility will be at the feet of Christopher Nkunku, the former PSG youth product who broke out in the Bundesliga in RB Leipzig. First and foremost, he has to stay fit. And when he is fit on a very young squad, he'll be asked to contribute goals, assists, and leadership. In fact, the two oldest players on this Chelsea starting 11 today are 26 years old, Robert Sanchez and Nkunku.
Along with Nkunku, when he gets around the top of the 18 and he's got the ball at his feet, he's so good 1v1, he gets the defenders dancing. And he's trying to calibrate himself, figure out that moment when he can get that striking effort off towards goal.
Mudryk dealing with a double team. Across the mouth of goal. It's last touch by Taylor. It's James over to take third corner for Chelsea. Outswinger by James. It's attacked in the heart of the area by Wesley Fofana. The foul is whistled against Chelsea. And slow to get up was the fullback Anthony Ralston.
I thought Ralston was fantastic on Tuesday night. Keep in mind, Alistair Johnson getting extended leave after his duty with Canada. And Ralston sticks his head in between Scales, who's coming through, and then Fofana, who's colliding in at the same time. You've got to be brave to stick your head in there, and he absorbs that contact really well. It's an opportunity for Ralston to try to impress. Alistair Johnson has proven to be one of the best right backs in all of CONCACAF region, and had nothing but success at Celtic in that position. A little bit of an opportunity for Ralston to impress Brendan Rodgers on this American tour.
Pass was laid off a little short, given away to Chukwuemeka. Madueke on the near side now, stretching the Celtic defense. On his left is Madueke looking for an opening. Was he a little hesitant?
Yeah, maybe should have taken it a little bit earlier. Instead, as he starts to go across, then you can see he's completely switched the mindset into wanting to play provider instead of trying to go for goal himself. So that's Mudryk, but he's flat-footed, so Mudryk's unable to garner any real strength on it.
It's another player who cut short his post-Euro break. Mudryk in hopes of putting in time under Enzo Maresca. It's Maeda who's running in behind and has a step on Reece James. Maeda takes it in stride, but he's offside. At an early start.
Celtic and their verticality, their ability to stretch the field, plays well tactically against Chelsea, who are playing with such a high line. Reece James continuing to figure out when to stick, when to move, when to be a right back, when to come in centrally. And right now, Celtic, the meat and potatoes of this attack, have been getting in behind early and often.
They restarted a little quickly for referee's liking. We'll do it again, Fofana. Shield, no way forward for Chelsea. He'll lean on Sanchez. Lavia. Shield. It's Fofana, who's almost a right back. All the way on the near side with Reece James taking up that spot in the center. Shield. Those are the things that get worked out during the preseason, that connectivity. With some new roles.
This is a testament, as we're going to have a hydration break right at the 25-minute mark here. This is a testament to what Celtic have done in the last 15 minutes or so to change tactically. They're doing better on the ball to keep possession. They're putting more numbers in the midfield. In the first 10 minutes, Chelsea, with the movement of James into the middle of the park, going to 3 in the back, they were doing much better. But since in the last 15 minutes, they haven't been able to dictate the pace of game. And that's mainly due to the fact that Celtic are starting to keep better ball retention, put more numbers in the park, and it's led to a goal. Brendan Rodgers has to be thrilled with the in-game adjustment of his side.
It's a fairly pleasant 83 degrees in South Bend, Indiana tonight. Still beyond the threshold.
This is right on the cusp of the threshold, let's be honest. It is lovely here today. It's picture perfect. Not a cloud in the sky for this matchup. And it's still preseason, so everybody want to enjoy a drink over here. But I think...
Well, your impression of the first 25 minutes, Jimmy?
Celtic have grown into this game, and they look like a team that's ready to take on the title defense for their 4th consecutive Scottish Premiership trophy. They look fit. They look as though their ability to pass out of pressure defensively is going to lead to opportunities where ultimately you break the press and you break the midfield lines, and then those front 3 have been devastating with their speed. Forrest, who's in place for Kuhn today, Kyogo up top, and Maeda. Every time a midfielder turns for Celtic, they just look to go in behind as quickly as possible.
Chelsea, meanwhile, played 21 of the 28 players on this traveling roster, got minutes in that preseason opener on Wednesday. 2 of the goalkeepers did not. Others getting their chance out today.
When you look at Chelsea right now, they are still very early stages. Their first match with Wrexham, is you alluded to, on Wednesday, but then they run up to a gauntlet, a who's who of the rest of the preseason. They'll take on Club America on Wednesday night in Atlanta. Then they'll face Manchester City and Columbus on Saturday, August 3rd. Then from there, how about this one? You go from Man City to Real Madrid after that. Inter Milan after that. And they finally open up their season with Manchester City at home on the 18th of August. But my goodness.
Easy enough.
Yeah, as you do for a casual preseason.
Enzo Maresca will get a really good look at his squad, his new squad, and all of their youth against top-level competition. Winner of the EFL Championship last season with Celtic, with Leicester leading them back into the Premier League. In fact, both managers today, former Foxes. This is Scales.
It's also important to note, too, that they're missing some players, Chelsea, today, right?
And they've got an early start once again, Kyogo, and the flag does come up.
I don't blame Kyogo for his willingness to want to go in behind with such a high line. Some of the players missing for Chelsea today will also be key figures to this. So, whilst these are very important games and time to grow together as a group, both on and off the field, you're still missing Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella, Cole Palmer, Georgi Petrovic used to play straight in Major League Soccer.
Look out. Chukwuemeka was closing down. It's Schmeichel who got there first. Done by O'Reilly in the switch of play to find Maeda near side. Kyogo streaking forward. Back post is Kyogo! What a save that is by Sanchez to keep it out. 2v1, and the one was the goalkeeper.
Oh my goodness. What a save. That doesn't give some life to this Chelsea side, then I don't know what will. It should be 2-0 Celtic right now. That is an out-of-this-world save from Sanchez.
And to your point, players like Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella, Cole Palmer getting extended off seasons after reaching Euro and Copa America finals. Also still haven't seen the debut of new signing Kieran Dewsbury Hall. He, along with Nicholas Jackson and Axel Disasi, still working on their fitness, getting back to game shape. Mudryk was part of that list, but fit enough to start today.
A new signing, Caleb Wiley, coming over from Atlanta United as well. Be interesting to see how he fits tactically in this system. He's got some experience. That's good feed from Madueke to keep possession, but Wiley has some experience to be able to play that left back role where he tucks in as well, centrally when needed. He's going to be a good fit for Enzo Maresca.
A heavy touch, Bariashvili. able to win it back for the Blues. And your first half touches for Noy Madueke. Chukwuemeka is running into the area. Steros does just enough.
Let's go back and look at this world-class save. What a turn from O'Reilly. Maeda understands that Kyogo started in an offside position, but as he takes those dribbles, he can reintroduce Kyogo back into the play. And Sanchez just throws himself full of hope, and he pulls off the spectacular save.
Seems to hover horizontally. They come once more with Forrest. Clipped in toward the back post, plucked out of the air by an inspired Robert Sanchez. He says he modeled his game after fellow Spaniards Iker Casillas and David De Gea. That's one back expertly. Taylor. McGregor.
Look how compact Chelsea are. That is compactness that you haven't seen from this Chelsea side before. And what that does is it gives no passing lanes inside. The only options you have are backwards or around the side. And Chelsea are more than content doing that because of that compactness. Now they're able to take 30 yards different. But when they get expanded like this, that's where the pockets start to open up for Celtic.
O'Reilly. Long switch, looking for James Forrest out wide. Just the ball to sleep. Overlap was on. Forrest cutting it to the inside. On his left, Greg Taylor. Forrest again out wide. The ball moving from Celtic.
Again, they have to go back, and you heard Sanchez squeeze, get up. That squeeze means get in tight, get up, higher line. They were in, pinned back.
Forrest against Levi Colwell. It's a clever pass in, spread across, and Kyogo! O'Reilly's ball is met at the back post, and Celtic have their second. Just over half an hour played in South Bend. It's Celtic 2 and Chelsea 0.
What patience from Celtic to draw Chelsea out of this shell that they were in, not once but twice, and ultimately it's O'Reilly with the timeliness to get in behind. Such class ball from Ralston. The pace on it's perfect. O'Reilly never even has to look because he hears the shout and understands if it all goes well in the build-up inside the box, Kyogo should be getting across the face of goal. He is. It's the simplest of tap-ins, but it's the most well-worked of goals from Celtic. A fantastic team goal.
And he scored the 3-1 just before halftime against Manchester City. The Kyogo, he gets his second of this U.S. tour now, and rewarded for his relentless energy and constant runs. Chelsea looking to pull one back. Chukwuemeka in a foot race. And he's won a corner out of it. Taylor was scrambling back. Chelsea looked dangerous with their first couple of corner kicks early in this opening 45. Less so with the set piece chances of late. There's some concern here for the Japanese international Maeda.
Yeah, there was a moment about 3 or 4 minutes ago where Maeda was slow to get up. He was slow to get back. And at this point in time, if you're starting to feel anything 8 days away from the opening match in the Scottish Premiership against Kilmarnock, you're just going to call it good. So Luis Palma looks as though he's got his kit on. And the game-winning goal against Manchester City looks as though he's going to immediately come in and replace Maeda. That is a cause for concern for Celtic this close to the start of the season.
We'll get him before the corner kick. So the Honduras international Luis Palma checking in, replacing Maeda. Leg for leg change on the wing. James calibrates. On swinger edge of the 6. A strong header by Cole. It is wide of the target.
You alluded to it earlier. The service from Reece James has been really good so far for the most part on these corner kicks. And this time Fofana wins the foot race against Taylor. Doesn't miss by much.
It was Fofana who met it. Back given away again by Celtic. Now Madueke. James, the captain. Madueke isolated near side. It's driven in. Contact made by you, but off target once again on the header. We'll head down pitch side to Katie with him. Katie.
That second Celtic goal was essentially as Brendan Rodgers was attempting to script it up over here on the sideline. During that hydration break, he pulled his team to the side, talked a little bit about what he felt was going well and where they could be cleaner. Specifically, he talked about being quicker offensively and passing in combinations when they saw it was on. Also defensively, Cameron Carter-Vickers having a nice little conversation with Kasper Schmeichel, complimenting him on his direction and also throwing in a little brilliant save. Thanks for that, mate.
Preseason vibes are high, that's for sure.
McGregor's won this one back. Palma with a chance to make an immediate impact. The substitute, Palma! Right to the hands of the waiting Sanchez.
And that's maybe the difference of a player who's fresh off the bench. Not quite match sharp. Gets in that 1v1 situation. Hasn't quite got a feel for the game yet to try to pick out the far post. He's trying to curl it. But the Honduran, as I mentioned a moment ago, game-winning goal against Manchester City. It was the timeliness of his movement from the left side that really caused some issues for Manchester City. That's his X factor, his IQ and understanding when to go, when to be a part of possession. For Palma, trying to be a threat for Celtic on the near side today.
Remember, Palma scored the winner against City. Madueke again. Even for Chukwuemeka. Finding his way through, swallowing through, and it's Scale who stops his approach.
Right now for Chelsea, if it's Chukwuemeka or if it's Madueke, whichever player's going 1v1, they get inside the box, and it's without the decisive nature to go, I'm going to beat my guy and get a shot off. It's too passive. It's too much. I want to provide an assist for somebody else. There's a time to be selfless, and there's a time to be selfish. Right now, it isn't the right balance for Chelsea. It needs to be better.
It's an outswinger by James. Modric now on the near side. Madueke.
Well done.
Just runs out of real estate. He's closed down. There won't be another corner for the Blues. A conveyor belt of corner kicks late in this opening half.
Madueke's speed again just drops the shoulder, and Forrest is always chasing. He does well to time the intervention.
Celtic deal with the danger. Palma with fresh legs chasing after it in the foot race with Romeo Lavia.
Good angle taken by the 20-year-old Belgian. He's just on that cusp of breaking in to a Belgian squad that is going to be in the changing of the guard, a generational shift. That golden generation for Belgium that seemingly never lived up to what their capabilities were, how good they were on paper. But Lavia now in this Chelsea side, a fight for minutes, as he is for his country as well. This could be a big breakout season for him.
Made his debut against Crystal Palace back in December. He's injured in that game. Second chance to impress now for him in this early preseason for Chelsea. Here's Carter-Vickers. Ralston. Lovely triangles in the midfield by Celtic. The through ball threaded in for Kyogo. Sanchez was there and slammed it off of Badiashile. A little more space to operate now near side from Madueke. He's picked out. Against Taylor. Squared back in. Chukwuemeka. Oh, it was a difficult angle, and a strong right hand from Kasper Schmeichel keeps it out. It was always his post.
Tuesday night against Manchester City, Kasper Schmeichel made two incredible saves against Erling Haaland, both in that fashion where he stays up and he doesn't go to ground early. So what that does, he stays big and he puts his arm out wide to create this big wingspan. And a lot of times it's just so he can react from a position where he's already set out wide and can go from that middle height.
James delivers. Touched away by Scales. There's 5 left to play in this opening 45 plus stoppage time. Chelsea in search of their first goal of the match, trying to half the deficit. Opener from Matt O'Reilly after 19 minutes. Celtic doubled the lead via Kyogo in the 33rd. Madueke.
Dre, earlier you mentioned about Celtic and their dominance in the Premiership. And the next step for this group being the evolution of them progressing on in Europe. And with the new format in Champions League, I think the aim for them is to finish in that 9 to 24 range to be able to advance on. And I think if they're going to keep possession like this, if they're going to be as threatening vertically in behind, if Kyogo's going to find this form, they should have big ambitions in Europe this season. And Celtic are a club historically who have won over 100 trophies, but yet, as of late, UEFA Champions League has been the one thing that they haven't been able to really garner any momentum. One win in the group stage last season, and
Bottom of the group.
yeah, it's not been good enough in Europe. But this group right here, if you're a Celtic fan, you should have more encouragement and more hope than any other season in recent memory with how they're playing tactically. They took apart Manchester City, and through 40 minutes, they're taking apart Chelsea as well.
Mudryk sneaking in between the lines. Could hold the play from the youngster Gu. Again, it's in Kunku. And Gu running in behind. Well, he gets there ahead of Schmeichel. It's still in play. And smothered by the Celtic goalkeeper.
Gio hasn't been involved enough, but finally gets a run between Carter Vickers and Scales. It's been tight from Celtic. They haven't given away much, but Gio finally getting involved for the first time in the last 20-25 minutes or so.
James getting there ahead of Palma. Fofana was clipped from behind by the Honduran. And it's given as a throw.
See if there's contact here. There's a little bit, but you know what? Ismail Pekmik, our referee today, got that absolutely right. Fofana understood his touch was going to carry him over the touch line. So as he went to ground and gave the L, he was hopeful that was going to sell the foul, and Ismail Pekmik wasn't buying it.
Gu, full of energy. Impressed in his debut. That relentless running in behind, and always making himself an option. He's involved early and late in this first half today against Celtic. Hasn't really had a sight of goal, though. It's delivered in behind. Sanchez comes out to meet it. Mudryk commits the foul.
There's a name you haven't said enough for Chelsea. Kylo Mudryk. Hardly been involved in the first half.
To be fair, it's his first minutes of early preseason play for Chelsea, having missed that Wrexham match. He's still working his way to full fitness. But again, he showed up early to training camp. He understood the assignment. Prove yourself to the new boss.
That's so good for Celtic to break the press.
In the tight spaces.
Switches on to Palma if he goes quick.
Atate. Anticipated contact. This is Forrest, who's out wide. Targets in the 18 and gives an extra touch to control. All right. Forrest was offside. On that far side in particular, Jamie.
Absolutely. It's the timeliness of O'Reilly, his involvement in the play. Brendan Rodgers has his group playing so confident on the ball. The passing is crisp, and while Chelsea is throwing numbers forward in reckless abandon to try to press in their final third, Celtic just keep breaking the press, and when they do, they've invited Chelsea to come out of that condensed shell. There's space to turn, and they've attacked those wide areas. It has been about as good of a 45 minutes as Brendan Rodgers would have hoped for from his side.
And just 60 additional seconds added on as a minimum this opening 45. And Celtic will be in no rush to get it back in play. Greg Taylor, the Scottish international, did travel with Scotland, but did not play a single minute in Germany at Euro 2024. Unlike McGregor and Ralston, who played every game of Scotland's campaign. There's only seconds remain until halftime. This is Sanchez. Constant runs for Madueke, this time not picked out for Fofana. Skipping past the challenge of Palma. You moved a long way back to help build up. Lavia. Holwell. Chelsea have to get the ball forward. Once again, the switch of play to Madueke near side. Fofana. Seeming happy to end the half in possession. Chelsea. Madueke. Kept it in. And that will do. It's halftime in South Bend. Chelsea 0, Celtic 2. As the Hoops scored 4 against DC United, 4 against Manchester City, and they're halfway there in the opening half against Chelsea.
Celtic looking fine form. They have looked so sharp going forward, attacking those wide areas. Matt O'Reilly, a goal and an assist, a phenomenal performance in the first half.
So Matt O'Reilly with the opener after 19 minutes. Kyogo would double the lead in the 33rd. Celtic 2, Chelsea 0 at the half as we send it into studio.
Thank you, Dre. Well, yes, Celtic continuing their fine pre-season form with 2 goals in the first half against Chelsea. Chelsea looking for their first win of the pre-season campaign. Kay Murray, Ali Moreno and Shaka Hislop here in the studio. We will be looking back on everything that we have just seen in that first half of action. Stick around with us here. We'll look back on everything that's happened and bring you highlights from the ready available for you to watch. Second half is coming up between Chelsea and Celtic right now. And Shaka, you mentioned Robert Sanchez, few good saves from his. Today we've got the news, obviously, that Philip Jorgensen's coming in from Villarreal to Chelsea. When you hear as a goalkeeper that there's another goalkeeper coming in, this is a pre-season, what are you doing? What are you doing to try and impress your coach right now?
Well, as a goalkeeper, all you can do is, well, certainly from Robert Sanchez's perspective, as we've seen from him, certainly in the first half, continue that. Now, the big question about Philip Jorgensen coming in is Maresca wanting a goalkeeper who's good with the ball at his feet, which Sanchez isn't. Sanchez is a decent shot stopper, though. So from that perspective, you're kind of wanting to try to impress, but that's not really your game. So it's a difficult one for Sanchez. For Jorgensen, though, coming in, and again, and question marks as to exactly what's needed here from your goalkeeper. Is it somebody just to play the ball out from the back, or do you go for... And traditionally, I feel goalkeeper's first job is still keep the ball out the back of the net.
How dare you?
and so this kind of new ask, shall we call it, I have to see how it goes, because I'm so unsold on it.
Yeah, Shaka Hislop, not a fan of the modern-day goalkeeper.
I'm a traditionalist.
Put it later. It's a
Let me just kick it up the other end. And
Thank you, Shaq.
Second half is coming up between Chelsea and Celtic. Let's see if we will get some goals from Chelsea here. Let's send it back out to Dre Cordero and Jamie Watson.
Thank you, Kate. Welcome back. Wholesale changes expected, particularly on the Chelsea side, as you see the likes of Raheem Sterling, Tosin Adarabioyo all warming up in a bit of a mountain decline for the second half. 2-0 down against the Celtic side that, not just on the balance of the first half, but of their U.S. preseason tour, looked like a team ready to kick their season off in just 8 days' time.
All right, well, our colleagues could agree in the studio, Ali and Shaka, that Celtics look fantastic. They couldn't agree on the likes of the new goalkeeper and coming in and Sanchez and how he's going to adjust to it. But I think we can all agree watching this match is that Celtic were far better going forward, and their ability to retain possession under pressure and then break lines with the passes, that led to them having an expected goal total of 1.79. Chelsea, while they had their half chances through crosses, a full goal less expected in that first half. I think Celtic look in tip-top form with these 3 changes for Chelsea. Look for them to try to get on the ball a little bit more, but be a bit more direct centrally, less out wide. That could be a difference for Chelsea in the second half.
So Brendan Rodgers and Celtic will keep things as they were in terms of personnel. The 3 changes for Celtic, 1 per line. Tosin for Chelsea is in for Wesley Fofana. Raheem Sterling will replace Mykhailo Mudryk. And Leslie Ugochukwu, fresh off of his first goal as a Blue, will replace Carney Chukwuemeka in the 11 to kick off this second half. Once again, the goal scorers. Matt O'Reilly, after 19 minutes, broke the deadlock. And Kyogo would double the lead in the 33rd. An opening half in which Chelsea had their chances in front of goal and plenty of corner kicks delivered Kasper Schmeichel's way, but no breakthrough yet for the Blues. And Celtic kick off the second half, 2-0 to the good. It's cut out by Raheem Sterling, first touch for the substitute. Talk about leadership and experience, the role that he'll play once again. Trying to get back to that best form he had in Manchester City. Romeo Lavia. Pass intended for Chukwuemeka. It's Hugh who gets there. Carter Vickers tripped him up, and Hugh is denied at the near post by Schmeichel. Denied off the woodworkers. Raheem Sterling with the follow-up. And 2 early chances for Chelsea. Once again, go begging.
Well, the start of the first half led to an opportunity for Chelsea. Much like that, the start of the second half leads to an opportunity where finally a central pass gets Guillou in behind, and Sterling had everybody beaten, everybody in the building, including Kasper Schmeichel, waiting to see if that was just going to curl enough inside the far post. That is crisis averted for Celtic. They struggled Tuesday night against Manchester City, conceding 2 goals. First one in quick succession, but that was a opportunity for Celtic to be better in the second half to start, and they were not inside the first 60 seconds. That'll be frustrating for Rodgers.
Better initial pressure from Chelsea early in this second half.
Out number 10, Mudryk.
Also, one of the 3 changes made by Enzo Maresca for the start of the second half. Reece James. Tosin, who made his preseason debut against Wrexham. Here's Nkunku. It's a clever ball. And Palma sending it forward. He was looking for the run of Kyogo, a run that never came. Levi Colwell. Nkunku is tripped up by Carter Vickers. Who were your first half stand-ups, Jimmy?
First and foremost, Matt O'Reilly, his goal and an assist, his movement from the middle of the park for Celtic, devastating for Chelsea, led to both goals. And for Chelsea, I really like Madueke, his ability to go 1v1. We didn't see the end product that Enzo Maresca or us would have hoped for, but nonetheless, Christopher Nkunku, he was the player we focused on at the start of the match. And he had glimpses and moments where he looked dangerous and menacing around the top of the box, but that final product, that final ball is what's been lacking for Chelsea. Raheem Sterling already has had more impact on this match than Mudryk did, who we replaced at halftime. Look for Sterling to be a key component in the second half for this Chelsea side.
And the whistle blows there against Romeo Lavia. Just fouled Rio Hatate. Parade of goals that has continued throughout this preseason for Celtic. They've looked sharp. McGregor. Scales. That's one back by Raheem Sterling. Fresh legs to substitute. Sterling squared and left it behind Nkunku with a follow-up. And following through was Madueke, who sent it wide.
The reason this match is not 2-1 is Madueke cannot get his feet sorted. Immediately the pressure from Sterling wins it, but he waits for everybody to run beyond it, and it's the secondary phase of Madueke that he's looking for. Does not get his feet sorted, takes an extra little half step right before, but because he's trying to avoid his right foot so much, and he tries to go with the preferred left foot, it's the wrong choice. That's why the opportunity goes begging.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, press conference. Press conference. Channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We started through Levi Colwell.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6,
Sanchez.
7, 8, 9, 10. Check.
Celtic happy to just keep men behind the ball for the moment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's Guillou.
6, 7, 8, 10.
It's James who plays it out wide.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
With a
10.
heavy touch.
1, 2, 3,
Covered well with Tosin.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Tosin just got let off massively there.
Press conference mic. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
A lack of
8, 9,
chances
10.
for Chelsea. They've had 12 shots. They've actually outshot Celtic. 6 of those on target. A couple of good saves for Kasper Schmeichel to keep the clean sheet for now.
And you start to look at the analytics, and Chelsea has more touches in the opposition box. Starting to get forward, they're getting opportunities. It's just been lacking the final ball. That's what's missing for this Chelsea side going forward in the final third.
Madueke getting it back from the captain, James. Bochukwu. Strong in his hold and play. And facing a double team. Chelsea applying the pressure, and Celtic trying to pass their way through it. It'll be a throw for the Blues.
Those touches in opposition box you mentioned a moment ago, 27 for Chelsea, 16 for Celtic. The final third entries, this will be encouraging for Enzo Maresca. 30 for Chelsea as opposed to 17 for Celtic, nearly 2-1, yet Celtic have been more dangerous. They have a higher expected goal total. They've just been better with the quality of the final ball. That needs to get better for Chelsea.
It's Kyogo. Physical with him, and that led to the turnover. Here's Nkunku. Now Sterling in the area. Against the double team, Sterling trying to force the issue. And Michael keeps it out and just bounces harmlessly wide in the end. Another solid save by Kasper Schmeichel to keep it out from the youngster. Mark Guillou.
As this falls to Guillou, it just catches him in an in-between place, just over his thigh where he can't quite guide it on target. Coming up towards his hip. It's because the ball's coming upward trajectory towards him that he's not able to dictate where he's just trying to deflect it in. That right now sums up the first 52.5 minutes for Chelsea in the final third. Just that last final touch is just letting him down. Guillou should have been able to apply the finish though from that distance.
Made headlines in his Barcelona debut, scoring 23 seconds after coming on against Athletic Club last October. He was just 17 years old and scored in the Champions League and getting his first European goal against Royal Antwerp in the group stage. Badiashile. A reminder of who's out there for Chelsea now. It's Tosin, Badiashile, and Colwell. 3 defenders with Reece James joining them. Lavia also in the midfield, Bochukwu and Sterling, Madueke and Nkunku and Guillou.
And now because Sanchez is so good with his speed on the ball, Reece James can tuck into the middle. Sanchez can become that right center back. Tosin goes out to the right back. There's still 4 in the back, but the right center back is the goalkeeper. And so you have an extra field player in a sense to go and get that numbers overload. That's what Maresca wants to do with the versatile Reece James. The more time James spends in the middle of the park, that is a good indication that Chelsea is keeping possession. Didn't see nearly enough of that in the first half, and that was down, quite frankly, to Celtic's ability to have ball retention and connect their passes under pressure.
Badiashile. Took him until November of last season to return from that long-term hamstring injury that had ended his 2022-23 campaign. Badiashile, still just 23 years old, is a dominant presence in the air. Anchoring the back line today. Madueke had the burst of speed to get there. And in fact, it's led to another Chelsea corner. How about that preseason effort from Noni Madueke?
Madueke might be one of only 2 or 3 people in this building that could have gotten to this ball before it went over the end line. Incredible burst. And then just the willingness to come back and try to put some pressure. And ultimately, Taylor ends up panicking a bit and putting it out for a corner. He's going to put it out. It's got to put out for a throw in there. This is a set piece opportunity they've been dangerous on all afternoon.
Now swinger toward the spot. Levi Colwell sending it back in and over. Ryan Kunku.
This opportunity all stems from Madueke's ability to go and win the set piece. And now Nkunku is going to get inventive, but the ball's not sitting high enough. He had his decision made. Ideally, that would have been another foot or 2 higher in the air to be able to try to pull off the overhead kick.
Here's Carter Vickers. I suspect maybe his final few touches, because they do have a defender getting ready, Stephen Welsh, to check into the match as Celtic's second substitution. It was the injury sub in the opening half that saw Palma step in for Maeda. And this will allow for Brendan Rodgers to make his second alteration. And as a 24-year-old center back, Stephen Welsh will enter the contest. And it is for the American Carter Vickers, whose first preseason minutes and 10 minutes into the second half.
Good showing with the American center back, Cameron Carter Vickers. Calm in possession. You can see the rapport starting to build with Scales and with Kasper Schmeichel. That combination with Ralston gave away next to nothing on the right side, between the right back and the right center back. Job well done for Cameron Carter Vickers in his 56 minutes.
Celtic in the 56th minute. Out is number 20, Cameron Carter Vickers. Down is number 57, Stephen Welsh.
Davia. Madueke out wide again. He's been a constant threat. Lavia. James taking up a spot in the center. Ariashil. Sterling on the near side. Colwell. Madueke doing what he can to keep that ball in play. When the flag comes up. Did he handle it? He does.
Off the chest, nothing. Great look at it from our crew to slow it down. Well done from our assistant referee on the far side, Arteman Rustamayan, to see that in real time. We needed it slowed down a bit up here in the booth, but never mind him right there. The assistant referee on the far side picking that up as quick as possible.
The second change for Celtic being Welsh in for Carter Vickers. Still a position that Brendan Rodgers and Celtic may want to strengthen in terms of depth. It may require selling. Possession short circuits.
There you go, you hit the buzzword with the Celtic fans. Transfers incoming and outgoing. There's always the cry for more, and fans will certainly feel maybe they're 1 or 2 pieces away from really being a top team in Europe, and I imagine Brendan Rodgers as well will feel that way, but nonetheless, Celtic have a very astute way they go about their business. Almost the exact opposite end of the spectrum as Chelsea. You look at the squad size for Chelsea, 43 first-team players. Well, for Celtic, it's not quite as expansive. They're a bit more about quality over quantity, so it's targeted when they spend. They targeted the goalkeeper when they bring in Kasper Schmeichel, and also just prior to that, Lajami Sinisalo. Now I think they could still use a little bit more depth up front if anything happens to Kyogo, who is joint top scorer. Right now it looks as though the backup might be the likes of Mikey Johnston up top, and he's been there for about 8-9 seasons now for Celtic. I just don't know if that's enough depth up top for this Celtic side to make a real deep run in Europe.
In Europe. Aggressive marking inside, and Kyogo was making the run.
Forrest has to complete that pass. You've got to just play it into the feet of Kyogo. Those are the moments, right? Excuse me, that was O'Reilly, and you've got to make sure that in that pass you just get it into Kyogo and let him dictate where that first touch goes.
Here's Badiashile, former Monaco man. Lavia dropping in to join the defenders. And for more on Chelsea and Enzo Maresca's second game in this preseason, let's get down to Katie Witham, pitch side. Katie?
Lots of compliments coming from the Chelsea manager. Well done. Most recently, he seems happy with the possession and the decision-making of his teams, at times offering small positional tweaks to his midfielders, but just recently reminding them that when they decide to drop the ball back and switch fields, they need to do it quicker, a much quicker tempo and less touches on the ball.
And Tate, another fine turn. Laid off with Kasper Schmeichel. Raffled into the middle. Sanchez coming a long way off his line to collect. Smart.
What confidence and skill from the goalkeeper to pull that off. I like that point that Katie just made, that she's just picked up from Maresca on the sideline for Chelsea. The head coach wants them to play quicker, and right now, Raheem Sterling is seemingly getting the better of Ralston every time in those 1v1 situations. But if they don't switch it fast enough and do it quickly, Celtic have such discipline defensively when they recover. And whatever advantage Chelsea has in transitional moments is being stifled when they take an extra touch in midfield before switching diagonally.
That's out there on the receiving end of the foul, and gathers possession here. Welsh. Captain McGregor had admired the commitment to the long sleeves in 80-degree weather.
McGregor's got a brand. Been played since 2009 here. He's synonymous with the face of Celtic. Been a loyal servant to this club, and he was one of the most popular figures, with a lot of fans lining up just to get an autograph from the captain, McGregor.
Just the 9 Scottish Premier League titles to his name. Here's Palma from the edge of the area looking for an opening. Kyogo options to the back post. It's clipped in. O'Reilly meets it. He's denied point blank. His chances could still be on for Celtic. Welsh, McGregor. That's a clever idea. Ralston doesn't read the intention. Here's another look at the cross made by O'Reilly.
One of the first foray forwards, and on his good job of getting across the box from Sanchez to close down the angle, and that's well blocked in the end. First time we've seen Celtic be able to get forward, and it's not for lack of effort. It's just because Chelsea have been that much better inside the first 17 minutes of this second half. This would be more like it for Enzo Maresca. I start to look at this group, and I start to think that with this long preseason against very difficult opponents, it's like a staircase. You're trying to establish each step of the way, going higher and higher.
Wonderful build up now, and Raheem Sterling's out in front. Madueke out wide, back post. He won't get there. Braga stayed down. Madueke. Chelsea trying to half the deficit.
Again, Sterling, it's this rapid pace from Raheem Sterling that we've seen all throughout his team's career. The 29-year-old England international, when he gets into open space, it's devastatingly quick. Chelsea, whenever they go to the near side with Sterling, have had more success in the second half than any other point throughout this entire 63 minutes.
James outswinger. That was close. It was the intended target.
It's a good adjustment from Ralston. This is where the service has been going from Reece James. So to understand, to get in front of your man, to get into that position where James has put it in time and time again. That's smart defending, high IQ from Ralston.
Badiashile. Possession is recycled back to the defense. Sterling lay it off. Cole. And Kunku. And the Cumberland Blues once more. Madueke out wide. Cutting inside to his preferred left foot. Squared across, and Kunku holds it up. In a crowd of hoop shirts. Sterling. No nonsense clearance. It's covered up by Badiashile. Couple of Celtic subs waiting for their chance to make an introduction. They have some defending to do still as that ball trickles straight toward Kasper Schmeichel. Welsh. It's a good run by Kyogo. Timed it well, and Sanchez a long way off his line to put out the fire. Badiashile. Levi Colwell spotted the run of Gu. Here's a young Catalan striker. Now Sterling.
Far post.
Sterling into the area. And Welsh heads away the danger, and this will allow Brendan Rodgers to make his changes. We'll see the introduction of Matt Anderson and Hyunjun Yang.
Sanchez has been adventurous from his goalkeeping position. My goodness. It was effective. I don't know if it was pretty. Nonetheless, he's provided that extra support. This is an old school sweeper if I want to date myself to my early playing days. Nonetheless, it's provided defensive cover for the two center backs, and it's given James the ability to come and push forward with Sanchez's quality on the ball.
So double substitutions for both sides as Celtic will see the 20-year-old Matt Anderson replace Greg Taylor at left back, while Yang takes over from Hatate in the midfield. For Chelsea, it's Andre Santos, the 20-year-old Brazilian, stepping in place of Romeo Lavia, or Malo Gusto, will take over from the captain, Reece James. Madueke again running in behind. He's timed it well. Can he get something out of it? Full of energy. Well, he went for goal. Might have slipped as he delivered.
This is a quick introduction for Matthew Anderson to try to go against Madueke, but he does cut off the left foot. Doesn't provide the angle to get a shot off for Madueke, so now he's got to go to the right where the angle is against him, and he's falling back. So that's a win for Anderson, fresh off the bench against one of the fastest players on the park. It's going to do wonders for his confidence, the 20-year-old for Celtic.
First touches for Andre Santos. Former Vasco da Gama midfielder in Brazil. Has made his senior Brazil national team debut as 18 years old. And he did that. Levi Colwell driving forward. Strong from Gu to win it back. Madueke once more against Anderson. And maybe showing some sign that he's slowing down due to tired legs. He's run himself ragged, Madueke.
Once again, Matthew Anderson doing everything he needs to. Gu strong to win it. Now it's down to the 1v1 with Madueke, and Anderson does ever so well to stifle that transitional moment like Gu started.
Nice and strong. For the near post this time. Comfortably dealt with by McGregor.
You can hear that communication from the 37-year-old Kasper Schmeichel. Scalesy, Liam Scales, nice and strong. Just those little bits of encouragement. The 37-year-old to be able to come in quickly. Back-to-back appearances after making his debut on Tuesday night against Manchester City. Kasper Schmeichel already showing his leadership with his shot-stopping ability. his ability to keep the ball with his feet, but also with his communications to his center backs.
By the way, Hatate has stayed in. In fact, he's on the ball now as Kyogo streaks into the 18. It's Forrest who was replaced. McGregor. Some appeals for an offside. Nothing is given. Malo Gusto trying to clear it away. Just want to throw. He hasn't. It's Celtic ball. Here's Walsh. And getting an early start was Luis Palma, who was flagged for offside. Hasn't made the impact that he would like, Palma, after coming on for Maeda. Did an injury substitution in the first half.
Well, he hasn't. Here's...
That looks remarkably close. In fact, Levi Cole on this near side might be keeping him on.
That might have been one from the previous play that the benefit of the doubt was given to Celtic. This time it doesn't go their way.
Santos, Madueke, sprinting into action once more. Guiu waiting in the center. Deliver for Guiu and overhit. Hasn't really had the service, has he? As we head into the second hydration break of the match. For all the energy and effort of Mark Guiu, the service hasn't quite been there for the youngster.
No, and that's not necessarily what he's looking for with the combination against Scales. It was Cameron Carter-Vickers earlier, then the substitute Stephen Welsh. Guiu doesn't want to get on the end of the crosses. He wants to be a part of the buildup. But for Celtic, their buildup has been nothing short of spectacular going forward in the first half. We haven't seen it as much in the second half. But the goals that Celtic scored in the first half, what's given them this 2-0 lead, were goals that were formed with patience. Brendan Rodgers has given this group a lot of confidence, and their ability to draw Chelsea out and then attack is how they get this goal. This started from a corner. Right, instead of just lumping it in, Celtic decides to go short. Nobody closes it down. Matt O'Reilly, a wonderful first touch to open up his body, and then just a smart finish to the far post makes it 1-0. I mean, not so much old as much as his back from carrying the team with goal scoring, but here's the patient build-up with O'Reilly again. That run from the three in the middle that he started at tactically. He runs beyond the back line, squares it across. Kyogo, the other 19-goal scorer last season, taps it in. And my goodness, 8 days out from the start of the Scottish Premiership, this Celtic side have looked nothing short of phenomenal this afternoon.
Yeah, they are feeling themselves, and you look at the results against top opposition. So Kasper Schmeichel will exit. He'll be replaced by the former Villa man, Viliami Sinisalo. Exeter's player of the season during a loan spell last season. We played 45 games for them. We were actually featured in the Premier League for Aston Villa. He was an unused sub, not ever getting in.
Sinisalo, like Schmeichel, very good with his feet. So he'll look to continue to try to keep possession as well. Kasper Schmeichel, though, 45 minutes against Manchester City on Tuesday night. 2 phenomenal saves against Erling Haaland. Very unfortunate to concede a goal in a real fluke fashion.
Oof, a lot of changes coming now as Johnston, Lagerbielke, final few minutes of preseason play for Celtic before the games start to count. Donovan also will be checking in, Colby Donovan. Yeah, 17-year-old defender Colby Donovan. Gustav Lagerbielke at 24. He's one of the players expected to be in that rotation at center back. Well, from what we've seen in the preseason in terms of minutes played and starting lineups, Walsh and Scales appear to be, for match day 1, the center back tandem. So Lagerbielke replacing Liam Scales. Here's Badiashile. Sterling, surrounded by 3 Celtic players. Here's Lagerbielke. Fresh into the game. Either substitute center back Welsh. Malo Gusto. Goes down quickly. Here's Madueke. It's aggressive marking, maybe too aggressive from Matt Anderson. Well, it's on Celtic's way. Quarter of an hour left to play. It remains Celtic 2, Chelsea 0. Worth highlighting, it's been tremendous effort from Noni Madueke, even if the production maybe hasn't been there yet.
Now look, at this stage of the preseason, we alluded to the staircase a moment ago, and you want to continue to take steps up this staircase. Some days you're going to take 2-3 steps forward, get closer to that goal of what the new identity is for Enzo Maresca. Some days you're going to take a step backwards. I think the build-up play has given you some hope, but the final product has been where they haven't taken that step forward today.
But yeah, it's a dangerous pass. It's giving away a chance for Celtic to get their 3rd! And they have done. Now Luis Palma makes his mark. The Honduran on the score sheet. And it's Celtic 3, Chelsea 0.
The pressure from Celtic is just too much for Chelsea to handle. Chelsea trying to keep possession. There's 4 players for Celtic that are converging at the same time. As Palma wins this, he's a left-footed player, so when he wins it, he's going to sell the strike after reading the pass. And he gets the defender, Tosin, to bite. And then he's got the calmness to put it beyond Sanchez through the legs. That is what Brendan Rodgers means when he says defensive intensity. Numbers forward this late on in the game. And the substitute who scored against Manchester City on Tuesday night, that proved to be the winner. Gives Celtic a 3-0 lead against Chelsea here this afternoon.
Dancing his way into Celtic hearts. They are enjoying themselves, the Celtic fans. Palma had the assist to O'Reilly against DC United on the opener. As you mentioned, the game winner against Manchester City, and now back-to-back goals as he adds a 3rd.
Oh, look, that's going to look very
against Chelsea.
Pretty for Celtic to make it 3-0, but leading into that in the second half, Celtic had only had an expected goal total of .02, so they really had not been creating much. But you know what? When you're having a half in which you're not able to create, the one thing the other team cannot stop you doing is running. And Celtic had 4 players running at the same time.
So immediately Celtic in search of a 4th, and they do it again. It's cleared away by Tosin. It's Mikey Johnston. It's the player who took that ball in stride. And the wall will be whistled for the foul.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitutions for Celtic in the 74th minute.
Nkunku, contact as he delivered the pass. Again, Madueke. Palma. It's Mikey Johnston who's in behind. Timed well. 1v1 against the goalkeeper. Is it a 4th? It is! They've done it again! Back-to-back games with 4 on the score sheet. Celtic with an exclamation mark of a preseason, fired up for the start of the campaign.
Again, another pass that breaks the line for Chelsea. Mikey Johnston this time just riding the shoulder of Tosin, who has no idea he's there. No communication between the center backs for Chelsea. Johnston slows himself down. His biggest criticism is his inability to consistently score. He's got the goal against DC. The prior match against City, he came on and he was lively. Now he gets a goal again against Chelsea. It's starting to come together for the backup to Kyogo. 20 goals now in the last 4 games for Celtic. They are simply on fire.
So Ronaldo Vega makes his introduction, replacing Levi Colwell. Lucas Bergstrom, the Finnish goalkeeper, will replace Roger Sanchez in goal. It's a goal that'll do a lot of good for his confidence, Mikey Johnson. And immediately called into action is Lucas Bergstrom. The wall has won it back. Ravenous pressure from Celtic in the final moments. Pierce for a handball. Referee had a good view of it. Saw nothing wrong.
This crowd has just gotten louder and louder with each Celtic goal. It's as if the energy that the players are expending on the field are now starting to exude to the Celtic fans inside of Notre Dame Stadium. It is an electric atmosphere. If you're a fan of the hoops, it's constant shouts of hail, hail, and constant cheers from the goal to our right.
Sterling. Chelsea just looking for a consolation goal at this point. And it's Raheem Sterling who is whistled for the foul.
Look at the difference, though, but when Celtic win it with 4 players around, they go and get the goal through Palma because they're quick. Chelsea are too stagnant.
There's Johnson. 4 players in attack for Celtic. Left a little short. It was Vega who dealt with the danger. Malagusto. Madueke has been replaced. It's Angelo, 19-year-old Brazilian winger who stepped in his stead. Johnston. Welsh from a long way out. Dealt with by Bergstrom. Holmes' effort.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitutions for Chelsea in the 79th minute. Coming out with 6, Levi going in, number 40, Renato Vega.
Salo.
Coming out,
Welsh under pressure, and he's giving it away. Raheem Sterling was there.
Coming in, number 41, Gabriel. And now in.
Maybe a Chelsea throw.
We're getting to the point now where wholesale changes are happening for Celtic. They've subbed out every starter from this match, and I think Brendan Rodgers will be absolutely thrilled with this side. Remember, they came into this match without Alistair Johnston, who was getting some rest. Nicholas Kuhn, who was the man of the match against Manchester City, he also was out of the game day roster as well. This group looks strong, and they look like they're just getting better and better at the start of the season next weekend.
Here's Nkunku now taking on the world and drawing the referee's whistle. Free kick Chelsea. It's preventive as much as anything in this late stage of the final preseason game. Trying to keep everyone as healthy as possible for the season opener in 8 days' time.
Yeah, the only concern was Daisen Maeda, who went off in the first half injured. Palma, who came in, goal scorer of the 3rd goal.
So Tyreek George, the 18-year-old, checks in, and he replaces Mark Yu. Your thoughts on the Spanish teenager and what you've seen from him in this early stage of preseason?
Yeah, only moments where he was impactful or had any real say-so in the match. If Chelsea are going to push their play out wide and look to get service from wide areas, then they need a bigger figure up top, somebody that will go and battle to win headers. Because as it got to the wide areas, it was the wide players, and whether that was Mudryk in the first half, Sterling in the second, or Madueke, they seemingly just cut in, and they never really look to cross the ball in. They're just trying to cut in and get a shot or maybe slip a ball on the ground. That's because Guillou is just not that big physical presence to go and win headers. I don't know if it's a square peg in a round hole with Guillou up top leading that line. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be convincing.
Nkunku standing over the ball. Well, Palma made that difficult for Chelsea. Familiar territory for Tosun.
That is such a wasted opportunity for Chelsea, and now they're invited all the way back to Bergstrom now because of the fact they misplay the first set piece, and it's just hectic from there on out.
Once again, Celtic looking sharper, fitter, quicker than the opposition. Vega there to intercept.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. This is still Chelsea building into their fitness. And Celtic are trying to ramp up now and get to that point where they're ready to go into league play, where you're playing for something. Next weekend, Chelsea will have already had another midweek match against America. They'll be taking on Manchester City at Ohio State University next Saturday, while Celtic the following day will take on Kilmarnock. So the start of their Scottish Premier League title defense. So you can see that really does play a part in it. You can't be naive to say that it doesn't, but Chelsea have not caused any real threat to Celtic this afternoon.
It's a preseason tour for Chelsea that includes the Scottish champions Celtic, the English champions Manchester City.
Go on.
The Spanish and European champions Real Madrid.
Okay.
And then the Italian champions Inter.
And one of the gigantes of Liga MX, Club America as well.
Can't leave that up. Santos.
But yeah, to your point, when Club America is your 5th hardest on paper opposition in the preseason, Enzo Maresca is coming in. Some of the toughest opponents he may face.
And back by Balma. Chance to make it 5 now. Maria Chile getting just enough of a touch. Good eye home. Tell you what, Bergstrom has more passes heading his way than he would like coming into this match.
I can guarantee you he doesn't want any more passes right now with this suffocating pressure that Celtic is putting on him. And since the moment he came in, his first touch was under pressure, where he had to slide and kick it out wide and nearly give away a throw in deep in his own half just to not get the ball taken off of his foot.
Paulson. Born very close to Stamford Bridge. He grew up in Manchester, in the Manchester City youth. In fact, he made his pro debut for City in Stamford Bridge against Chelsea in the FA Cup. And Chelsea have a consolation goal in them. Switch of play for Malo Gusto to Sterling on the near side. Inherited the captain's armband from James. Santos. Paulson.
Good defensive discipline from Celtic. Look how tough they are, not allowing any passing lanes through them. They'll concede it to the wide areas. But at the 88th minute, that's a really good sign from Brendan Rodgers' side to still be turned on up 4-0. Make sure you're still doing the defensive duties, making sure that you're doing everything that you need to try to see this out with a clean sheet.
Maria Chile. Malo Gusto. Return pass from Santos. Doesn't get there, but Malo Gusto wins it back. Sven Nkunku. Now Sterling. Sterling looking for the angle. Is Raheem Sterling tripped up in the box, and Chelsea have a penalty. A clumsy challenge from behind. And it's going to give the Blues a chance to pull one back.
This is the speed of Raheem Sterling, just getting beyond the youngster Colby Donovan, who extends the leg, and that is a mistake that Donovan does not need to be making at this moment in time. It's just experience versus youth, and Raheem Sterling astutely wins the penalty.
The 17-year-old Donovan gives away a penalty. Christopher Nkunku standing over the ball 12 paces out.
Nkunku, 4 of his last 5 have been goals. The 4 have gone to the goalkeeper's right. The one he missed, he went to the goalkeeper's left.
It's Christopher Nkunku's buried it. And Chelsea have a goal to celebrate. They've pulled one back. Chelsea 1, Celtic 3.
Here's how we got to 12 yards out. It's Raheem Sterling taking that touch across the face of Donovan. Donovan needs to let him go. He doesn't, so to the spot we go. And Nkunku has found a lot of success going to the goalkeeper's right. He opens up his hips, closes them at the last second. And that goal will merely just be a consolation goal to spare them the blushes of being shut out against Celtic.
The second preseason goal for Christopher Nkunku. He got the opener against Wrexham. And another from the spot.
Never underestimate the value of an attacking player finding the back of the net and feeling that feeling. So for Nkunku, while it won't necessarily matter in the grand scheme of things, this feeling of seeing your eyes pick up after striking it and the ball hitting the back of the net will give the French international much more confidence going into their next matchup. And they take on Club America on Wednesday, July 31st. At Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
From the moment that he broke into Paris Saint-Germain as a youngster, it's a player that could play any of the positions in the attacking half of the pitch. And for the moment, Chelsea's preseason top scorer. So more than halfway through a minute added on, a minimum 60 seconds of stoppage time. Celtic still hungry for a fifth. Chelsea quick to put it back in play through Sterling. Here's Malo Gusto. Mariashvili. And there is the final whistle as Celtic's preseason U.S. tour ends the way it started, in perfect fashion. A parade of goals for the Scottish champions. 4-1 past Chelsea. 4 goals in 3 consecutive games for Brendan Rodgers' Scottish champs.
4 goals in their last 3, and they look a good value to lift their 4th consecutive Scottish premiership. On to Kilmarnock next Sunday.
For Jamie Watson and Katie Witham, I'm Andres Cordero saying so long from Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana. It's Chelsea 1, Celtic 4.